All right, we're live. Hey, happy late 4th of July to anyone who celebrates. We had a great time at my house when brother lives in Saratoga Springs. We have this gorgeous view, the entire Utah Valley. So we always go up to his house on the 4th of July because it's a little bit elevated and then you can look down in the valley and see all the fireworks everywhere. And then everyone's like, oh, look, there's a finale over there. And, oh, look, there's one over there. Like the little flare ups of like really cool. You see all like all the different towns doing their fireworks shows and stuff. But yeah, I want to talk about some melodic music. I want to highlight some of my top three favorites that are in the hymn book, and I want to suggest a top three of ones that I think could be added to the hymn book. And of course, we'd have to look at them and say, hey, what's the best version of this to add, and do we need to tweak this and that? But these are songs that I think, yeah, we could totally make this work. So I'll start with I'm going to start with the three that I want to see added. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. You guys get a sneak peek behind the curtain. My new book. All right, so we're going to share my screen. All right. So the first one I think might be fun to add is "O Columbia, the Gem of the Ocean." Now I'm going to show you a little bit about this one. So this is from my new and talk about American heroes and American songs. What's funny about this one is it evolved from being a British song celebrating Great Britain to one that celebrates the United States. And Columbia, it was just another name for the United States that was used in its early days, like named after Christopher Columbus. They call it Columbia. And still, our capital is the District of Columbia. So just the District of the United States. So the original words you look at here was "O Britannia, the pride of the ocean, the home of the brave and the free." Yeah, and so it was like all about "Yay for Britain, Britannia, hail Britannia," and then it got taken up, and now it's become a patriotic song for the United States. So, here are the new words. So I'm going to sing a little bit of this one. If you're like, hey, that sounds familiar, like if you're a Latter Day Saint and you're like, hey, I've heard that before. The tune for this is already in our hymn book. The text is called "Up Awake, All You Defenders of Zion." Up awake, all defenders of Zion. Like it's the same tune. They just took it and put new words to it. Another reason why I think like it would be super easy to put it in the so not of course we can't put it in the main like hymn book that's going to be on the pews because it's a global hymn book and they're not going to have nation specific songs in it. But they said also that there is going to be a digital addendum for different nations if they want to include songs that are important to them in their region. So in this case, our patriotic hymns will live on. And so if there's a patriotic holiday, we could still sing like "America the Beautiful" in church or whatever, "My Country 'Tis of Thee." But so this is one I think like, hey, why don't we add this one to the addendum? A lot of people already know the tune, and it's a great song. Let me sing a little bit of it for you. "O Columbia, the gem of the ocean, the home of the brave and the free, the shrine of each patriot's devotion, our world offers homage to thee. Thy mandates make heroes assemble, when liberty's form stand in view. Thy banner make tyranny tremble, when borne by the red, white, and blue. When borne by the red, white, and blue. When borne by the red, white, and blue. Our banner, thy banners make tyranny tremble, when borne by the red, white, and blue. So I really like that. It's such a fun. If we wanted to add like a new verse to make it for the more for the hymn book, like talking about how we, um, we're a nation that trusts in God for our preservation and how He preserved and helped our founding fathers form the nation. As we said, so yeah, that's one where I'm like, hey, that would be really neat for that to appear in the addendum. And it's not one we probably sing every week, but like for the week of the 4th of July or something like that, sure, or Veterans Day. Okay. The next one I would really love to see is God Bless America. Okay, let me get to the. Here we are, chapter 6. So what's really neat is so it was composed by Irving Berlin for Armistice Day. It was the kind of the forerunner to what we now call Veterans Day. And Irving Berlin was actually a Russian. He was born in Russia to Jewish parents, and his original name was Israel Balin. But then they fled persecution. They were being persecuted for their religion, and they came to the United States and became citizens of the United States. And then he actually joined the military then. And while he was in the military, wrote God Bless America. He loved his country. They'd come here to find religious freedom. They'd found it. And he wrote this as a tribute to his new country that he loves. So there is like an intro. I don't know that I would put this like in the hymn book, like the while the storm clouds gather far across the seas, specifically talking about World War II. Let us swear allegiance, allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair, as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. And then it goes into, I would probably just put this, if we put this in the hymn book, I mean, it's literally a prayer for God to bless America. So I think that for those of us who live in the United States, that's an extremely appropriate sentiment. We want God to bless our land and to help us make good choices, to be righteous, and live up to the promise that we've been given. So let me sing a little bit of this. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. I think we can make a really nice like hymn book version of that. That could be sung, on patriotic holidays and such. I think that would be really nice. So here's hoping that might end up in the addendum. Okay, third one I'd like to see. This one is less like specifically patriotic. It's more of like an American folk song, folk hymn. But this one's been sung by the Tabernacle Choir quite a bit. Simple Gifts, and I really like it. And like from my book here, the lyrics of Simple Gifts express Shaker ideals. True happiness and spiritual fulfillment are found not in material wealth or conditions, but in the simple joys of life and in living in a state of grace. So there are a lot of different versions of Simple Gifts. Like I've done it, like I did it in high school, I did it like in college, I did it with the Tab Choir. I've heard other versions. There are a lot of versions. But I think we could take one of those versions and it would be really just a nice addition to our hymn book. So this one, I don't think it needs to go in the addenda because it's not to America specific. Like last two were like "Yay for America," basically. But this one, I think, could be added just in the regular hymn book. This goes. 'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where we want to be. And when we find ourselves, excuse me, in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. And this idea of turning, like, hey, you go one direction, that's not right. God tells you to go a different direction. You turn, you keep trying, and you keep turning toward God. And you live a life that is simple, that's full of the simple, good, important things, and abiding in God's grace. So what a great hymn. That's an American original, like even the tune. Let me find it here in my. So it was it was used by Aaron Copland in Appalachian Spring, which is a very famous piece of Americana music. So yeah, I think it just would be a really good fit. All right, and then let's talk about my favorite three that are in the hymn book already, and that I'm sure will be in the addenda. Oh, America. Okay. Here we go. So about this one, did you know it was actually a runner-up to be the national anthem? So even though it was just the runner-up, it's still doing very well. You still hear it at all sorts of like patriotic concerts and TV shows and whatnot. So you can see though why it was a strong contender to be our national anthem. It has a little bit of everything. It talks about the physical beauty of the land, all the mountains and the oceans and everything, the beauty of its people, and the patriots who sacrificed their life for freedom. So so it's easier to sing than the national anthem. No, believe me, I know. And it's less war centric. You know, the national anthem is based on, it's actually the War of 1812. It's not the Revolutionary War, but Star Spangled Banner won out. And you know what? Great. You know, at this point, I don't think there's any reason to change. But this is still a wonderful song. All the verses of it. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. That's a beautiful hymn. All right, and then I also love My Country 'Tis of Thee. And we sang both these in church today, so because we like, aren't there all that many? So when it comes around, you're okay. We're singing these two usually, because you're not usually going to sing the Star Spangled Banner in church. I don't know, just it'd be interesting. So this one's interesting. It has a lot in common as well with the country that sings about. So it started out as a song about the British monarch called "God Bless Great George the King." God bless great George the King. You know, and that's what it originally was. So eventually, it finally won its independence and became an American song. So in fact, until Congress officially chose a national anthem in 1931, it was the de facto national anthem for over 100 years. So I'm glad it's now an American song. There are a lot of different versions, but here's a little version that we sing today. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountain side, let freedom ring. I love the last verse especially. Our fathers, God, to the author of liberty, to thee we sing. Long may our land be bright with freedom's holy light. Protect us by thy might, great God, our King. Yeah, there's a reason that one has endured as well. All right, finally, I love Battle Hymn of the Republic. Let me find that in here. No, lots of battles. Lots of battles. Here we go, Battle Hymn of the Republic. And yes, I know this one's sung by the Tab Choir, so I do have a kind of a soft spot for it, so that, take that how it is. But what not a lot of people know is this was written by a woman named Julia Howe Ward. And she was a well-educated woman from New York, and she went with her minister to come see the Union Army. And while she was there with the Union Army during the Civil War, the Confederate Army attacked, and she was just blown away by the valor of the Union Army and watching the soldiers defend their camp. And so what she did, she heard them singing another song that has this tune called John Brown's Body. And it was a secular song. It wasn't a religious song at all. And her minister, who she was with, told her, hey, you ought to rework this tune, but do something a little bit more dignified, perhaps religious. And so she did. And what we have is the result. She awoke one morning. She was in a tent. She woke up in the morning, and she said the music just, so the words just came to her. They just flowed to her. And she laid there until the very last verse came into her mind. And then she got up real quick. She's like, I got to write this down. I'm going to forget this. But it was a miraculous sort of thing that just distilled upon her mind in the early morning. And so I've always just loved this hymn. I feel like it was given from heaven. So anyway, here's a little bit of this one. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He hath loosed the fateful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. Great song. If for some reason you haven't heard the Tabernacle Choir sing it, you should do that for sure. That's the version for which they won a Grammy. Back in I think it was the 50s. But anyway, it's an award-winning version, and we do a lot like on tour and like a lot of end of different concerts and stuff. It's kind of like a big finale song. It's pretty great. So anyway, those are my top 3 favorite hymns, patriotic hymns that are in the hymn book, and then 3 I'd love to see added to either the main hymn book in the case of Simple Gifts, or for Columbia Gem of the Ocean and God Bless America. I'd love to see those added to the, I guess, American addendum, you could call it. But hey, thanks so much for joining me. Join me again next Sunday at 7. I will be trying out something new. I'm going to start reviewing Tabernacle Choir albums, starting with one of the all-time greats in honor of 5,000 music in the spoken word broadcasts next Sunday, the 13th. That's a huge deal. 5,000 started all the way back in 1929. It's been ever since. So this is the 5,000th episode next week. So in honor of that, I'm going to be reviewing the album Consider the Lilies. I'm talking about some of my favorite tracks on there, just going over that whole thing. So that will be 7 p.m. next Sunday. I have Mountain Time. I'm in Utah. So, adjust that as needs be. Oh, thank you, Juliana. I'm glad you like the list. And looking over a lot of American songs, like a lot of them, I can't really see singing in church, but there are a few. So appreciate that. And let me, as always, let me know if there's certain content you want me to talk about. I'm open for ideas. I love that. I love talking about music, singing, the whole 9 yards. But hopefully join me next week as we talk about Consider the Lilies and the impact that's had. All right. Have a great Sabbath. We'll see you then.